When Steel talks, everybody listens.
Will be the members of the Pan Sonatas Steel Orchestra, a Caribbean-style steel drum band from Brooklyn, who are going to give us yet another world premiere, this time a piece written by Christopher Cerrone, who is going to explain it to us. Please welcome Chris Cerrone.
Hi, John.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
How difficult is it as a composer to write notated music for not just an instrument, but a whole family of instruments that most composers never deal with?
Well, I had an ace up my sleeve when Alan called me asking for a piece, is that I'm very good friends with the composer India Kehoe, who is best known as a SteelPan virtuoso in addition to being a fantastic composer. So 5 minutes after I got off the phone with Alan, I called Andy. I'm like, Andy, what am I going to do? I wrote a SteelPan piece. And he said, you know, basically the SteelPan is like any other instrument. It can do it as a wide expressive range, and it can do many, many things. And I remember the second thing being that I remember actually being at Andy's apartment and several years ago and playing with the steel drum and just saying, you know, oh, this is so cool, and rolling really quietly on it. And that was the thing that struck me. And when I came back to writing this piece, I thought that is such an incredibly beautiful sound.
Right. And one of the things that makes it beautiful is they're metal instruments, and metal, without getting too into the physics of it, metal instruments have sort of irrational kind of overtones, not the way a string or a column of air produces.
Absolutely. Well, what's amazing when you hear a steel pan played is that you sort of have a pitch, but then you have a number of other ones that you hear just as closely.
Right. So the pairing of that kind of sound world with the more familiar and conventional sounds of acoustic orchestral instruments, how difficult was that to deal with?
Well, that was the thing that I sort of just attacked it head on, is that what happens in my piece for the most part is that everyone plays everything. The steel pans play every note that the orchestra does, and the orchestra plays every note that the steel pans do. So when you have the blend of the flute and a quiet and the steel pan rolling, hopefully, it was my goal at least, was to create a sort of new sound in that combination.
Mm-hmm. This is, I mean, to anyone who lives anywhere remotely near Eastern Parkway in Brooklyn, which is a big swath of Brooklyn, the sound of these bands is certainly familiar. We hear it every Labor Day. Do you live in one of those neighborhoods?
I live not very far at all from Eastern Parkway. And in fact, the first time I ever went to Brooklyn in my entire adult life was to meet my friend around Labor Day, and you know, she lived in Crown Heights, and I get out and what's going on? And I've gone to Brooklyn on the day of the Caribbean Parade, where you know these kinds of steel bands. It was incredible.
So your piece is called Flows Beneath. Does the title refer to something in the process of writing?
Well, I was having a really hard time with the title, and when you have a hard time with the title, you should ask a poet what to do. So I happened to be in an artist colony with the poet Carolyn Forchet. And I said, come to my studio, listen to this piece, what does it sound like? And she said, she listens to it and she says to me, it sounds like it's a frozen lake, but the steel pans are sort of like the water that's still not yet melted that flows beneath. So it's sort of a river that flows beneath, which is where I got the title.
Nice. All right, you ready to hear the world premiere?
I am very much excited.
Chris Cerrone, thank you very much, Chris. The Brooklyn Phil, the Pan Sonatas Steel Orchestra of Brooklyn. Once again, Alan Pierson conducting. Chris Cerrone composing world premiere of a piece called Thrones Beneath. Alan Pierson conducting both the Brooklyn Phil and Pan Sonatas Steel Orchestra. And for those of you who aren't maybe aware, Pan is just the name for the steel drum. So, you know, they're referred to as steel pans. The big annual competitions are called panoramas. And these guys are 10-time champions of the New York Panorama.
When steel talks, everybody listens.